Errma group.
You are Errma?
Yeah, Errma group.
This is
My
Errma
name
group.
is not Errma. Our group name is Errma.
Okay, got the picture. Okay, right. So, what do you have? Who's explaining?
I think I'll do the explainer and then they will help me with the explanation.
All right.
Okay, first of all, our problem statement is we think that there's too much toxic people around us. So we want to do some games based on toxic. And then we want to solve the toxic problem. Not to solve, but to raise awareness. So the game we're making is like a story-based game in a like RPG scenes, but it's in pixel art lah. Something like this.
Okay, go back to the part about toxic people.
Yes.
Can you clarify a little bit more about the toxic? Can you describe a little bit more about toxic? Because it's a bit general when you said there's you said get away from toxic people.
Not to say get away. It's like how to confront them. How to face them.
Confront toxic people. Now,
Like,
but toxic is a big category. So under toxic, there's so many different types of antagonistic attitudes. So which one that you're focusing on?
Basically, right, it's like more on web comments. There's like, for example, there's a few platforms where maybe someone just doesn't like something. They voice their opinions. And then like people. So for example, maybe she doesn't like her, and she's like an idol. Then I like her, but she doesn't like her, so she says, "Oh, I don't like this guy." Oh, so I don't like this guy, and I'm like, "What? You can't? How can you not like this guy? I'm gonna curse your whole family to death," or something like that. There's like a few platforms seriously with this type of comments where it's really, I won't say like, because I don't think they actually like think through the words they say, but because after one person say this, others start to follow. So there will be like several people start to cyberbully her and her, something like that. So maybe an idol doing something, maybe like she just drink wine or beer, then they will say, "How can idol drink wine? How can idol drink beer?" But if you know what I mean, something like that.
So is this what's going on today?
I feel yes, because
So you have references to back you up, right? This thing.
you mean like
yes,
real life.
a lot of news like idols
Yeah.
commit suicide because of hate comments.
Because of hate comments.
Yes,
And not
yes,
just that,
yes.
gamers. What about gaming world? The gaming world
Yeah,
it is very prevalent in the game.
even like there's some Twitch, what do you call the person that do Twitch? Streamer.
Streamer lah,
Yeah,
Twitch streamer.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
streamers like. Before that, you know, there's a game called.
I know what then the suicide because of the drama thing in YouTube. There's the one guy called what? A drama alert or something. If you know,
Drama alert.
there's like this YouTube. Like there's this account called Drama Alert where they like expose all the drama for the YouTubers. Regardless if you're
Is it? I see. I'll check it out. It's
Keemstar,
called Drama Alert, is it?
Yeah, Keemstar. If you-
Okay.
So like they expose all your secrets maybe.
Yeah.
Although some did do something wrong, like maybe they like those bad crime stuff, illegal pedophiles stuff.
Cool.
But
Sounds to me that yours is based on interactive conversations and dialogues, which is very interesting because there's not a lot of games with that, but they're also extremely popular, especially like visual novels and things like that. The visual novels have dialogues and all that you will do, but there's one in particular that I want you to have a look. It's called Facade game. You can download it for free. It's called Facade game. FACADE Facade game.
oh, is it the one that you can type in? I think I know. Is it a long time game? A game that from a long time then.
Yeah, for some time it's an old game,
okay,
but
I think-
it's really amazing.
Yes, I saw this game.
It's
yeah.
really amazing. I think you should just download it and then try it out. And I think that because that is purely conversational.
Yeah.
And you're using something like a webcomic, a webtoon kind of style or animation.
Then the ending depends on.
And there's so many way. I mean, it's like you can. It's like so many approaches. And it's like an AI. It detects your. There's no. It's not like scripted or something. You can type it and it responds to your thing, which is very interesting.
And then it's like, I think for 10 years already.
Yeah, for 10 years already. Like
Then
it's
the
quite
Taiwanese
amazing.
do something like that.
But this would be good for, like, let's say, really having fun with it and trying to see how they respond and whatever. But it's interesting to see how you can craft the game that you have a toxic response. So you have toxic response, and the challenge is to avoid toxic response or to confront and to try to overcome a toxic response. So there's specific goal that you got to decide what is your main goal and outcome of this game. Like if your objective, because it's very wide, right? Like you said, there's so many different style of toxic communication. But what would be the best way to what is your focus? Like for example, I'm just coming back from school. That is the beginning of the game, and then I'm going into that structure that's called my orphanage, and I don't want to go back to my orphanage because of what she always say to me. So I go in there. What do you think she will say to me? And how would she respond to me if I come in to that place looking like this? Is there any way for me to be able to get her to overcome this and to get her to overlook this, whatever? So if I go in there, this is the response. And then said, "Come here, you dirty rat," whatever. And I hate that. The moment I walk through the door, she calls me dirty rat every single time. But is there any way for me to go in through the door and for her to not call me dirty rat? That's sort of kind of thing. So you got to see yourself as the protagonist in this story, like the main character, and how this main character is where this main character is going to go, and what might need to empathize with the character, because what will happen. So this will require you guys to do some drama, act it out a bit. This is what I want you to do next week. You need to set a pathway. Okay, you need to set a pathway for your game. The pathway is organic. The pathway is organic. It will still change. Okay, there will be new branches, because a whole pathway will have branches, So you need to determine a storyline, number one. But the storyline the branches is probably due to choice making. What kind of choices you want to make, and you try to start off with the initial very simple script of one scenario, okay, and build from there. But obviously, the end goal of your game is for this person to feel good, escape. What is the end goal? You want this person to be able to do something with the person, or what? Take revenge, or what? That is the winning part. If this person is successful, but if this person is not successful, how will this person lose? Or is there such thing as lose? So how do you define that pathway, the choice-making branches, and a simple script of the scenario? Bring that next week, okay? Just write down in your pen, right? Just simple, and then assign each other roles. I want you to act it out. So he becomes the main character or something, and then, but based on your game pathway lah. So how do you pretend that you're creating that you have a gameplay model that you can play? So by you playing, but this gameplay is relying on interactivity, dialogues, and kind of acting. So in a way, it's good that it's okay to look at this genre, but we want to see maybe the several factors that one or two maybe can do some research on. How replayable is a visual novel? What makes it replayable? Who's the villain of the story? Is there a villain? Who's the hero? Who's the main character? How many levels of choice making do you need? You know, and what is the genre? What genre are we looking at? Is this a typical everyday life genre kind of thing, or is this taking place in a world, or is this taking and perspective as well? You can think about perspective. Is this in first person, or is this in 2D? 2D is what we see every day. Nothing new. Okay. There's also the first person view. The first person view is usually you can see like a interactive video, but it's gamified. It's a game version. You know, there's also 3D VR or something, but that's way too much to do, you know, for 14 weeks. But what would be what kind of perspective do you have in mind in order to have this experience? So yours is more like an experience, and then you require the player to also think and decide. You want the player to feel pressured into making the decision, but there's also the payoff. You want the player to be satisfied as well. So yeah, let's see what we can explore next week. And next week is very important because once we can see this, then we can we get started. We kickstart your prototype already, and each subsequent weeks you're going to relook at what is changed every week, what is changing, how it's evolving. And then at the meantime, some of you already can get started with crafting the timeline of your project. How you're going to get started, what platform you're going to use, this sort of thing. So that's how you're going to work with your team dynamically this way. Not everybody will work on one thing. There will be the storyline, the branching off of this thing will be worked on 2 or 3 people. Then, so next week is the part where you're going to get started to really look into your production. But at the same time, looking into your gameplay structure. Okay. All clear? Questions?
So is this recorded, right?
Yeah.
Then when you post on
I'll send it to you. I'm thinking now. Should I put it in? I thought of putting in Google Drive and then send you a link. Something like that. Somehow lah, I'll figure something out. Okay. Try to do it by tomorrow. By today, if possible. All right. Okay. See you. You're done. Thank you.